Overwatch Season 5 releasing about a week or so now. We have a bunch of new hero changes and a bunch of other changes to the game. And it is that time again to update the hero tier list with a bunch of new changes and stuff that's actually changed. At least, like, ranked-wise. And with Lifeweaver actually being put into ranked now, which I think the last tier list I did for Season 4, Lifeweaver was not actually in ranked at that time. So, got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm going to get into this. So if you guys like these videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Keep in mind, this is a video that is 100% opinionated, so if you do not agree with me on something, let me know your guys' own list and your guys' own stuff in the comments down below if I forget to mention something and that type of thing. So, also keep in mind, this is not gonna be for pro play. This is not gonna be for, like, if you're like in a 5 stack or if you're like stacking in ranked. This is gonna be for your average ranked games, your average solo queue players. From like your mid-tier silver all the way up to your like lower tier, high tier platinum, lower tier like diamond games, that type of thing. Your average like ranks where the majority of the players are, which is usually silver or gold, has the highest like amount of players in those ranks. So that is also where I've been most of the time, at least for the majority of Overwatch 2 being out for right now as well. I have been in plat for a while. I was in bronze when I first started the game, like everybody was, and I've just been kind of hovering around those ranks as well for pretty much the entirety of the game's release so far. So, without further ado, I'll throw the list on screen for you guys right now. S tier is the stuff that is the best of the best. This is stuff that needs to be nerfed, with some huge nerfs or some major changes to make it balanced. And there's just really no drawbacks of just choosing whatever is an S tier every single game. It's either brain dead or you're going to be winning the majority of the time if you play it. A+ tier is some of the other stuff. Wouldn't say it's really broken tier worthy or needing nerfs, but it's like the other stuff that's like usually must pick worthy if you don't want to play anything in S tier for some reason. A tier is average, B is kind of below average, C is more situational depending on maps and team comps. D is extremely situational tier. Maybe there's only like one map or one team comp or like one situation that you're going to be playing whatever's in D tier. And then you actually put a needs a rework tier again as well. I think I might have had that for the last one as well, but I'm going to do it for this one again because I do think there are a certain number of heroes in the game right now that need to be reworked. So, apart from that, let's get right into this. Start out with Lifeweaver. Lifeweaver is going to C tier. He's been in ranks now. I think he's been in ranked for about 2 months. Like I said, the last time I did a tier list was when he was first put into the game. And at that time, he was not in ranked. It was not until like 2 weeks after I uploaded the Season 4 tier list until he got put into ranked. So he did get buffed this patch as well. But the real problem with Lifeweaver is the people that play him, especially in your solo queue, like mid-tier ranked games. The majority of people that play Lifeweaver just don't do anything. They either just try to spam ults, like that's the only thing he actually does, or they just use his abilities just to troll you. And that is the main thing, especially being a tank player, and the most played role that I have is usually tank or like DPS. Majority of the Lifeweavers that I get in my ranked games, they just troll and they'll actually like life grip you out of certain situations when you're about to get a kill or a bunch of other stuff. I've had Lifeweavers that even like try to life grip you and like try to dump you off the map sometimes, and it's happened to me plenty of times. That's the main problem with Lifeweaver. He is a hero that a lot of the trolls and the throwers like to play, kind of in the same spot as like Moira. A lot of those type of players like to play her as well, which we'll talk about. Overall, his healing numbers aren't really the greatest. He doesn't do really that much damage, and his ult is kind of just mid at best. Nothing really crazy about him, and with how much skill, if you actually do want to play him, with how much skill and how much time is required to actually learn him and play him decently, you're better off just playing something like Mercy, where you can just stand there, click a couple buttons, and get a bunch of value, and just win majority of your games playing that. So, Ashe is mid, really mid right now. Nothing with her has really changed. Kind of just an ult bot that just does a bunch of damage. That's all she really does. She's a little bit better because Widowmaker got nerfed, but Widow's still incredibly good. the real thing now with Widowmaker is like people are just playing her at like closer ranges, especially like your really good Widowmakers, because the range never did matter. If you can land headshots with like quick scopes, it still doesn't really matter. So she's still one of those heroes that just gets destroyed by Widow, even at like medium range, especially if you're going against good ones. Moira needs a rework. Moira is a hero that legit, like every single game, I don't even know anybody that actually even plays Moira as a healer. At least, I don't know about you guys, but at least for me when I play ranked, 99.9% of the Moiras I get on my team when I'm playing ranked just do nothing but play either like a flank, they flank the enemy team's back line, solo the entire game, and end up just dying over and over, or they just play damage and they just do damage and they never heal anybody. And that is all they do the entire game. And then your team is forced to have one healer that's supposed to actually heal an entire team, and that's just not possible, and you end up getting destroyed. I think Moira needs a rework. I think it's at the point where Moira really needs a rework, because she just doesn't really fit anywhere in the game right now. If you want to play her as a healer, like you can, like she has the ability to do that, but like the people that play her don't want to do that for some reason. She incentivizes a damage playstyle as a support. I think that's the main problem with her. I think she just needs to be entirely reworked. Keep her alt, and then rework everything else. I think instead of Sombra and Roadhog, which is rumored to be getting reworked in like a couple seasons, or like next season, or a few from now, instead of those ones being reworked, I think they need to rework in Moira instead. I think she's the one that needs an entire rework. So if anybody from Blizzard happens to watch my videos, I highly doubt it. Cancel the Roadhog and the Sombra reworks and put Moira into the rework category instead. That'd be great. Ana, best support in the game, are right beside Mercy. Where's Mercy at? I might as well put her there as well. Ana and Mercy are the two best supports in the game right now. They have unmatched utility and they have unmatched heals. There is no other supports on their level right now. I wouldn't say Ana's really as easy to play as Mercy is, but like with how much healing she does and everything else, like she has everything you need out of a support. You just got to get a little bit better at, if you got to get like at least average levels of like landing her sleep dart to actually put stuff asleep. And even then, if you're not that good at landing sleep darts, you can just always throw it at the tank and always put a tank to sleep. So incredibly good. I don't know, like I really wish they would actually rework Mercy too. Like I would actually put Mercy into the needs a rework category too, but then thinking about it, that like they'll never rework Mercy because she sells so many skins and she has such a dedicated player base to where they don't want to piss anybody off, because everybody loves Mercy for some reason. I don't like her. I like her as a hero, but I hate her as like a kid and having to play with her and play against her. I really do. I think she is really bad for the game, and she incentivizes like an AFK playstyle, pretty much. All you need to do is hold one button the entire time. As long as you're looking at somebody and you're healing somebody, you're getting value. That is all you need to do, and then you alternate between blue beam and yellow beam, and then every 2 seconds you fly around. That's all she does. The easiest to play, most brain-dead support in the entire game. If you do not know how to play Mercy, uninstall the game, because this game is not meant for you. That is the problem with her. She's too easy to play and she gets too much value. I'll say it every single tier list. I wouldn't say the really same thing about Ana. She actually takes some skill to play, but like even if you can just play her at an average level, like she's better than like all the other supports, even then. With how good her, like how bloated and how good her kit is, how much utility she has in her heals. Wrecking Ball A tier can be really annoying, but does get shut down by a lot of the stuff right now. Especially with McCree and May getting reworked to have more crowd control. They kind of shit on you, so that's why I'm going to only put them in A tier. Baptiste, still really good, A+ tier. Nothing with him's really changed, just a really good support. If you're really good with him, you can even argue he's S tier. May is broken. They reworked May to where she's actually able, she gets like a thaw, or like a freeze effect on her main weapon now, to where you're actually, if you like freeze somebody, they get slowed. And they get like a really, I think it's like an effect around them, like an AoE, like, I wouldn't say it's like a physical effect, but it's like a visual effect around them, at least on the maze screen, that that they're slow enough to take damage, bonus damage from like her alternate fire. It's crazy. Pretty much what Mei was, pretty much what she was already, she would just run at you and like slow you down the entire time and just try to farm ult. But now she does that, but she does like 10 times more damage than she did in Season 4. This goes to show you that they do not know how to balance their game. She is one of the most annoying, like, aids heroes in the game now. And she was also really annoying before. She really was. She wasn't that good because her damage kind of lacking. She didn't have really the craziest of damage. And she had no mobility, which was kind of holding her back. But now she also has damage, so... They gave her one thing she was lacking, and now she's incredibly good. She has really good survivability, and she has really good utility with her wall and her ice block, so... And if you put that into like your solo queue, like mid-tier ranked games, you just run at everybody and they don't know how to react. That's pretty much what she is, and you farm your ult so fast, and you can pretty much get entire team wipes off an ult if you know how to use it properly. Bastion, more team dependent. I'm gonna put it in a B tier. He's kind of fallen off a little bit, mainly because Mei and McCree got buffed, and you're better off just playing them. There's a lot of other DPS you'd just rather play over Bastion right now. Zenyatta, I think his damage orb is broken, but his healing is some of the worst healing in the entire game. He is legit an ult bot. If you want to keep your team sustained, you gotta actually run like an ult and just ult every time because his healing's just garbage. The only reason you play Zen is for the damage boost, and if your team can't get any damage boost and like any picks off of that, like you're pretty much just wasting your time. You're better off playing any other support. Sombra, C tier. Can be annoying versus some teams, but like she just gets shut down really easily. Especially even like in your like solo queue mid-tier games. A lot of the Sombra players don't know how to actually play, and you actually have to know how to play her and position properly to be able to get in and get out freely and at least get value. And that's a problem with a lot of people in your lower to mid-tier games, especially solo queuing. Briggs A tier, nothing crazy, just your average support. Especially after the rework. Everybody was saying she was going to be crazy after she got her ult rework, and it's not really even that good. McCree is crazy right now. They rework. This goes to show you they don't know how to actually balance their game, because Magnetic Grenade, they nerfed the shit out of Magnetic Grenade, and then they completely reworked it for this season. Now it's a grenade that has even more range. You actually have to aim with it because it's not like... It doesn't like have auto aim anymore. It doesn't like actually float to somebody if they're like if you're looking at them. But like, it has way more range than the magnetic grenade does, and it actually hinders movement abilities and that type of thing. Like for whatever it hits. So if like a diva's close to you and you hit it with a magnetic grenade, and it wants to run away from you, it can't run away for like 4 or 5 seconds. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So you're giving a hero that really wants stuff that can actually, like, to lock stuff down that can usually run away at low health, and you're giving that something that can actually use to lock those type of things down and actually be able to 1v1 them a lot easier. It's really bad balancing. I don't know. McCree's crazy. Like, if you haven't tried the new McCree out with the reworked magnetic grenade, like, it's crazy. I wouldn't even call it magnetic grenade anymore. I think they renamed it actually. I don't know what the new name is, so I'm going to call him Magnetic Grenade. Roadhog's garbage. He's really bad. This is coming from somebody that, like, the majority of my games and the majority of my hours on the game are playing Roadhog. And, like, if I'm playing tank, like, I'm playing him, like, 80% of the time. I have an average of, like, 65 to 85%. Even sometimes closer to 100%, depending if I'm, like, popping off hook accuracy the entire time, so... And he's really bad. They buffed him. They gave him like a healing boost after he uses Take a Breather for like 3 seconds, so he gets like extra healing from all his other sources. But that didn't do anything for him. He's so bad. The problem with him is he just doesn't do damage. He's a tank that tries to get picks, but like you hook somebody and then everybody just walks away from you. That is the main problem. You just get out damaged by everybody. Even some of the supports can actually out damage you. Like, that is how pathetic he is right now. You are getting out-damaged by some of the supports if you try to hook them, and they are able to get away. Because you just can't really one-shot them anymore unless you get really close to them, or they have healing and they try to get away from you and you can't really do anything back. Awful. They completely ruined Hog. And if they're gonna rework Hog to take away his hook and all that other stuff, like legit, I'll quit playing the game, because what they need to do is they need to revert all the nerfs they gave him and bring back his one-shot. That is what they really need to do, but they'll never do that because it's Blizzard and they don't know how to balance their game. They just like to ruin stuff. They like to ruin everybody's fun. Doomfist, crazy good. A+ tier, especially in your solo queue, like mid-tier ranked games. He just destroys teams because nobody knows how to lock him down, and he's just able to do whatever he wants most of the time. Diva A tier, really good still, kind of just average. Nothing with her's really changed. Echo A tier, nothing with her's really changed. Genji got a bit of a buff, but I'm going to put him in an A tier. Kind of comes down to the Genji player. If you're a cracked Genji player, he can still be incredibly annoying and carry games. But on average, I think he's just average right now. Hanzo is still really good. S tier. Still really good. They tried to nerf his one-shot to make it not as consistent, and it did not do anything because the other one-shot character also got nerfed. But Hanzo never got nearly as nerfed as Widowmaker did. And the only thing that really changed is you can't really like one-shot at like incredibly long ranges from like all the way across the map. If you're still like halfway across the map, you can still one-tap somebody. It's happened to me multiple times. It really has. I think they reworked or like made a different like visual effect for his storm arrow or whatever. The one that gives you the reveal. I don't know. He's still incredibly good. Like if you want like an incredibly good DPS, Hanzo is still really good. Like a projectile DPS at least. Nothing with him's changed. They tried to balance him and they failed miserably because why not? That's what they usually do. Because they don't know how to balance the game, like I said a million times. And I'll continue to say. Junker Queen. She was balanced. She was balanced mid-season 4 before they giga buffed her for no reason. She was balanced. And the only reason I'm putting her at A+ here is just because there's a few other tanks that are actually better than her now. They kind of reeled her in a little bit, but she's still incredibly good. Does a lot of damage, almost unkillable. It depends on how you play her. I play her a lot too, so like I know what I'm talking about. Especially in like your mid to lower tier games with solo queuing, like she can carry games if you know how to play her properly. Junkrat A+ A tier. I think the main problem with Junkrat right now is that he just kind of gets destroyed. If Mei gets on you and slows you down, you can't really get away very easily. And then stuff like McCree and Hanzo just destroy you, and that is just being played every single game. It's like being somebody who plays a shit ton of Junkrat too. It's just really difficult playing against them right now. Kiriko, I think Kiriko's good. A tier. Nothing with her has really changed, just a really good, like, middle of the pack tier support that's actually balanced. It's crazy. I think she's probably one of the most balanced supports in the game right now, which is crazy. Not really many heroes are actually balanced right now, but I think Kiriko is actually one of them that actually is. So I would not change with anything with her at all. But knowing Blizzard, they're going to giga buff her 1 or 2 patches from now. Just like they did to Junker Queen and everybody else. Lucio can be annoying. I'm going to put him at a B tier, but like the problem with him is his healing's garbage, and you're just using him for a speed boost and mainly the utility. I don't know why. Okay, that was weird. Orisa, still incredibly good. Orisa is unkillable. I'm putting her at S tier. If you take her into like your lower to mid tier ranked games, especially like with your solo queue players, if you're just solo queuing, Orisa is pretty much unkillable. You just pretty much run the game because nobody knows how to actually like do anything with you, against you, and like that type of thing. Especially if you actually have supports that actually heal you and play with you, and a team that plays with you, like you can just roll enemy teams. She's crazy. She needs some type of nerf and or some cooldown increases to her Fortify. I think that's the main problem with her. Her Fortify is on too low of a cooldown. It just makes her pretty much unkillable. She can do whatever she wants. Same with her stun. She has a really easy to land stun that's up, I think, like has like a 3 or 4 second cooldown. It's crazy. Pharah A tier. I want to put Pharah higher, but McCree really shuts her down. And this is like my best DPS in the game, and the best thing I play is Pharah. And I'm really struggling versus McCree this season, I really am. Mainly because the reworked magnetic grenade, if you get too close to him, you can't float away, and he shuts down your mobility and kills you. And he's almost in every single lobby, so it's really difficult to play right now unless you have a pocket with like a Mercy or something that's constantly healing you. Ramatra, really good, S tier. I don't know if they would actually need to nerf him though. I think the problem with Ramatra is that they just need to buff more tanks and to be on his level. I think that's the real problem. I think the only reason he's actually like broken right now is because like the majority of the other tanks in the game are either like mid at best or just you don't even see them played. I think that's the real problem. They need to buff some of the other tanks to have more viability and more utility and see them played a lot more. Reaper got some huge changes to his Wraith form, so if you get hit with like, I think it's a Junkrat Steel Trap or like McCree's Magnetic Grenade, you're not able to go into Wraith form anymore, or like anything that's able to like prevent mobility, you're not able to like go into Wraith form anymore. Even I think like Sigma Alt as well was another one. I don't know, I gotta put him at an A. I still have to put him A+ tier. Like, don't get me wrong, those changes did hurt him, but he's still a DPS that can legit, like, 1v1 majority of the tanks in the game. And even some of the DPS, like Torb and some of the other ones that have huge hitboxes. He's really good into Mei, because Mei is a huge square hitbox. He's, like, one of the only DPSs that can actually still 1v1 hog. Like, there's a bunch of other stuff he's really good into. He's really good into Life Weaver. He's really good into Bastion because of their huge hitboxes. Like, he's still, like, especially in, like, your solo queue lower to mid-tier games, he's just so brain dead with how much damage and how much healing he gets back from his passive. It's crazy. The lifesteal he gets is too good, and the damage he does is just too crazy. Even with the lack of mobility and the mobility changes he got, like, he's still crazy good. Like, I don't understand how... There's some people that say Reaper's garbage now. Like, you must be living in, like, an alternate dimension because... Or you're not playing the right game. Maybe you're playing some different game. I don't know about you guys, but the Reapers I've seen in the majority of my ranked games so far, they're still stomping lobbies. They're still destroying teams. Nothing with them's changed, really. Ryan, still really good, A+ tier. Sigma, S tier, really good. Really, really good tank. Probably the third best tank in the game right now. I think if you want a tank right now, the three best tanks right now are Risa, Ramatra, and Sigma. All incredibly good. Sojourn's fallen off a little bit, but she's still incredibly good. I'm going to put her in A+ tier. Soldier 76, S tier. Crazy. There's gonna be some people like, oh, this bozo, this fucking guy is putting Soldier at S tier. He must be smoking something. Yeah, the only thing I'm smoking is auto aim, bro. The only thing I'm smoking is auto aim. If you guys do not know why Soldier is S tier, let me tell you why. Auto aim alt, mobility that has no cooldown. You can run around and take as many angles as you want, and you're not restricted to a cooldown. You have your own ability to heal yourself without having to rely on your team. And then you do pretty much crazy damage. Really easy, consistent damage. That is hit scan. What more do you want? And then you also have an alt that pretty much all you need to do is just look at somebody. You click a button and you look on the screen. If there's somebody there, you don't even need to aim. It'll aim for you. How more brain dead can you actually get? That he's legit like the best solo queue, like mid to lower tier ranked pub stomper hero in the entire game. The only thing that's kind of shutting him down right now is he has a bit of like matchups that aren't really that good because Mei and McCree, if they both get onto you, they shut down your mobility and they can kind of 1v1 you a lot better than you can 1v1 them. So that's the only thing you kind of got to be careful for. But apart from that, as long as you know how to play him and you just run around the entire time and nobody locks you down, you just keep taking different angles and keep doing damage, keep charging alt, and keep healing yourself, you can pretty much just run the game. Crazy good. I know there's going to be some people that disagree with me on that one, but like, if you disagree with me on that one, like, you're probably either a higher tier player or like a pro player, or you don't play in your lower to mid tier games, or you're not a solo queue player at all. Or you're playing a different game, like I said earlier. Symmetra's E tier. The problem with her is she's just so situational, and the only thing she relies on is if she's able to run at the enemy team at full charge. And if you're allowed to do that, you're probably in a bronze lobby. That's probably why. Torb, I'm gonna put it like a B tier. There's just no. The problem with Torb right now is there's no reason to play him, and you're still getting like one tapped by everybody. He's a walking hitbox, and people are playing Mei, McCree, and Hanzo, all things that can either two-shot you or pretty much delete you in one hit. Tracer got a bit of a nerf, but I think it's kind of more of a skill-dependent character. I'm gonna put her in A tier just for like your average players and like your lower to mid-tier games, because people don't really know how to actually shut her down, and she's a lot more. She can do a lot more in those type of games. But like, she's more skill dependent. If you're really good with her, you can actually put her higher in this list. But like, I'm just talking about overall, it's probably an A tier right now. Widowmaker got some changes. She's no longer an S tier or like needs a rework tier. They tried, and I'll give them credit. They actually tried to rework her and tried to nerf her enough to where it actually would matter. But the problem now is, the people that play Widowmaker anyways are usually like one trick Widowmaker mains anyways. So the main thing that they only play for DPS is usually like Widowmaker and maybe one other DPS. They usually only play like 2 things out of the entire game. The one thing now is that people are just like on her good maps, she's still really good. And on the maps where she got the changes to her range, people are just playing a little bit closer up. And they're still like quick scoping people and still getting kills. So like, that's the only thing that's really changed. She's a little bit easier to kill because she's not playing as far away. That is the only thing that's actually changed with her. Apart from that, nothing's changed. But I would put her in S tier. Normally I probably would, or like I'd put her in like a needs a rework tier, but like, she is a lot easier to kill now because she has to play a lot closer on the majority of the maps to her team. She can't just play on the other side of the map and then kill everybody like she was doing. I don't know if you would really call that a successful balance change though, because it didn't really actually fix the issue. It just kind of changed the problem. So I don't know if that would actually be a W or a huge L. I'm not sure. Winston's C tier. You don't see Winston play it, and when you do, he just doesn't do anything. I don't know why, but I just don't think people actually want to play him. There's so much other stuff being played. And then Zarya, I'm going to put it A+. In your lower to mid-tier games, people do not wait for your shield to actually go on cooldown. They'll just shoot at you and give you so much free power, and they'll just charge up your beam, and you're just able to just melt everybody. That is the main problem with her, and that is why she's so good in like your lower to mid-tier lobbies for your average players. Maybe in your high tiers of play, and if you're a pro player or like that type of thing, she's pretty bad because people know better. But like, if you're solo queuing in your lower to mid-tier lobbies, people just shoot at her and they just do damage to her, especially when she has a shield or if she has a bubble and she's throwing out bubbles to people. They don't care. They'll try to just like shoot at the shield and try to break it with damage instead of actually like waiting out the cooldown so she gets no extra damage boost and charges her ult. So I don't know, and then she just ends up rolling entire lobbies. I had a Zarya on my team that legit, like, she kept getting shot at by the enemy team. There was one point fight that lasted in overtime for about 2 minutes. She was taking so much damage and doing so much damage that they were charging her ult so much. She had three ults. 3 ults in the span of about 2 minutes, like a day or two ago when I was playing. That's your typical shit in your ranked lobbies and like your mid-tier lobbies. I don't know. There you have it, everybody. That is the list right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I said, this list is 100% opinionated. So if I forgot to talk about something or if I forgot to mention something, let me know. Overall, the balance of the game right now, it's good to have the majority of the characters around your average point, but like, there's way too many characters in the S tier. They gotta really nerf some of the characters in the S tier. And the problem is they had some really bad balance changes with like, especially like McCree and Mei and like even Hanzo. Balance changes that either didn't do anything or like made them way too good for no reason. Again, so. And then there's a bunch of stuff in S tier as well that never got any balance changes at all. That should have got nerfed or some type of changes, and they never got anything for another patch in a row, so. I don't know. overall balance with the game right now is mid at best. Not really good, not really bad, but just kind of eh. There's a lot of stuff that's not really good either. Like, there's a lot of stuff like below A tier that is not really that good. So I don't know. I would rather have the game more around the middle though, and there's a lot of stuff that's just way too high on the list, at least for my opinion. So I don't know. And before somebody says too, well, they gotta balance the game for pro play, bro. They got the Owl League is starting up here again in a couple weeks. I think they have some tournament or something coming up in a couple weeks. I'm not sure what exactly it is because I don't watch that garbage, but like, I'm never gonna be somebody that actually advises them to balance the game around the pro players, because the pro players are legit like 1% of the player base. If you want them to balance the game for the pro players, like legit, like I don't know what to tell you, because you're legit asking for the game to be bad. They should balance the game around the majority, not the minority. That is the awful way to balance, and they should balance for like your mid tiers, not from your high tiers down. That is a bad way to balance the game. You need to balance for where the majority of your players and where the majority of your play is, not for like the lower, the minority type players, like the 1% of the player base or the pro players. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, at the same time, it doesn't really matter, because no matter what they do and what they try to do to balance, like, they'll fail anyways because they don't know how to balance their game. Blizzard is so bad at balancing the game, and they were only first getting good at balancing the game towards the end of Overwatch 1, and then that went and that got deleted, so it took them, like, what, 4 or 5 years to finally get decent at balancing the game. And then right when they were getting good at, like, putting out solid balance patches, the game went down and they switched over to a sequel, which is Overwatch 1.1. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm going to get out of here. Got a bunch more stuff on the way, so if you guys want to stay tuned for that, subscribe, share the video. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch, there's a link down below. Same with Twitter and a bunch of other stuff, and as well as a channel Discord. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, everybody.